U.S. Justice Department said Thursday it would immediately reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug, ending decades of treatment that grouped it alongside heroin. The change does not legalize the drug across the country, but could ease restrictions on taxes, research, and regulation across a $47 billion industry.
Legally speaking,
Alexis Lazary is an attorney who works with cannabis firms.
ever since 1970, when the CSA, the Controlled Substances Act, was enacted, cannabis isn't in the same tier as heroin. So regulatory and legally speaking, this is a huge shift.
Businesses dealing with so-called Schedule I drugs, that's those classified as having a high potential for abuse, have been barred from deducting basic expenses and using some other tax breaks. Now, that could change.
So some of these cannabis operators are operating at about a 40% tax rate, and then they can't even deduct business expenses like rent and operational costs, which a typical business, any other business in any other industry, is allowed to do, so long as they're not, trafficking in substance Schedule I and Schedule II substances.
For cannabis businesses, the announcement marks a change in direction, not an immediate change in daily operations. At Crystal Leaves in Colorado, General Manager Jacob Grayson says dispensaries have learned to be cautious.
I think we're overwhelmingly all in the same neutral position of waiting to see, because this industry changes so drastically that to put all your eggs into one thing is like something we all are kind of afraid of doing. So to sit there and be like, yes, we're going to go ahead and move forward with this concept that it's now rescheduled, when we all know there's a lot of nuances and things that have to still happen, conversations that need to be had.
Marijuana products will now be classified alongside products less subject to abuse, like painkillers and ketamine. Legal experts like Professor David Ball at Santa Clara University say the rethink is overdue.
Scheduling has always been kind of a bad fit for cannabis or marijuana, whichever one you want to call it. So most of the other items on the list are actual drugs. And I don't think the science supports the idea that marijuana is deadlier or more prone to abuse than methamphetamine, cocaine, and fentanyl. I just don't, that's never made sense.
Researchers say rescheduling could also lower barriers to studying cannabis, which is being investigated for use in treating pain, cancer, anxiety, and other conditions. Critics, including many Republicans, say it's a step in the wrong direction, however. They warn of dangers, including psychosis and antisocial behavior. But while marijuana will remain illegal at the federal level for recreational use, businesses, researchers, and consumers across the country are watching closely as the rules governing cannabis begin their biggest shift in decades.